one, and we're talking about this notion of setting your long term goals. And like I was just explaining, you know, it's simple enough for us to think about our financial goal, but we don't always think about our career goal and work backwards from there. So when you're setting a plan, it's important for you to know, like, what is the end game for me, and how um, then do I set out a plan to get to that end game. That's part of what you'll be doing this week. So, your career preparation is going to vary from person to person. Yes, all of you are in this course right now. Many of you are in the same programs, but none of you brought the same experience to your program. So, what you do after this program is going to be dependent upon your current skills, what your plan is, and where you're going to go. And no two plans look alike, nor should it look alike, right? So, um, your career pathway is going to be dependent upon what you bring to the table, your current skill set, and where it is you're trying to land. Even if both two people in here said, "Well, I want to become a master electrician and own my own business." Well, there could be, one person may be able to become a master electrician in 6 years. Someone else, it may take 10 years. Someone else, I don't know if it could take any shorter than that. I'll let my electricians tell me. But some may be able to start their business right after they become a master electrician. Maybe they already have family members that have a business, right? So the pathway, even if you have similar goals, are going to be different based upon what you're bringing to the table. What we tell you to do is to learn as much as you can about your industry. The Department of Labor, the Occupational Information Network, they all put out great statistics on, where industries are going. It's important for you to know where your industry is going. One of the things that I teach in entrepreneurship courses is that you can't just say, I want to open up shop. Like, I always hate when I see people say, oh, I want to open up a barber shop, or I want to open up a pizza parlor, and they don't stop to think about, well, how many barbershops are already in your area, or how many pizza parlors are already in your area? Like, what's going to happen? You're going to open up shop, and yes, you may have some clientele, but is the market already saturated? Um, is the market moving in a different direction? Like, how do you know that opening up that pizza parlor is going to be successful? Have you done the research? Well, that same token to your career, like, have you done the research on your industry? Do you know where it's going? Do you know where it's going in Florida? Do you know where it's going in the regional environment, right? Like, it's going to be so important for you to know where your industry is going, because that is going to inform your opinion and your decision making when you set your career goals. So, your career plan, we ask that it be documented. It doesn't have to be written in stone, but it needs to be written in draft, because you will change your career plan as you move through your career. Things change, right? Companies change, technology changes, your personal lives change. So your plan will change, but it's important for you to write those things down. Now, once you create a long-term goal, is what we call it, then how do you get from where you are today to that goal? Those are called action steps, and we'll be setting those action steps in this class as well. So, in addition to you trying to figure out, okay, what is my career goal, right? What is my career goal? And also, what skills do I bring to the table? Some of us know, some of us are saying, well, I think I know what skills I bring to the table, but you may need to take a self assessment. We're going to have you take a self assessment in class today, because it may be important for you to figure out, maybe you've done some research on your industry. Maybe you're going to be a really good electrical person or welder, but maybe you've never ran your own business before. And you're like, do I even have the capacity? Do I have the skill set to run my own business? What does it take to run my own business? Right? Has anyone ever managed someone before? Anybody ever been down that slippery slope of having to manage people? Uh, yeah, it's not for the weak at heart. Let me just tell you, because you're trying to make business and make sales and manage people and manage deadlines. Like, you really have to know whether you want to be an entrepreneur. I used to run an entrepreneurship course at the Small Business Administration in Orlando years and years ago. And I ran it. I created a 7-week course, and I had all these people. They would come to the class, and they were so excited about owning their own business. And one of the best compliments I got was, people would tell me, "Okay, I don't want to own my own business," but they were happy about it. And I was like, "What?" At first I was like, I felt bad. I like, "Oh my God, I dismayed them." But they were like, "No, you let me realize what it takes to own my own business," because I had the IRS come in and talk about it. I had, a person in the marketing team. I had someone from finance that talked about getting insurance for CEOs, like what happened to you and do you have a succession plan? What's going to happen to your business? I had people come in and obviously help them write their plan. Even had members of the SBA would come in and talk about loans. Like, it was a very intensive program. And a lot of people walked away and said, "No, no, thank you. I don't want to run my own business." But some people just don't have the temperament and the skill set for that. So we're going to have you take a self assessment just to make sure that you kind of have a sense of what it is that you are naturally good at, and what it is that you may need to think through, in order to be really good at what it is you want to do, right? Because you still can do it. You just want to plan for whatever skills gaps that you may have. And this is all how you set what we call a SMART goal. So once you set a goal, to ensure that it's smart, you have all the tools that you need to make informed decisions. So, how does that look? Once you set your long term goal, as I stated, and we're going to talk about how to make it smart, then you set these short action steps. They all are smart. Um, to help you get to the goal. And when I say SMART, that's an acronym that we use to make sure the goal is attainable. But before we even get to that goal setting, let's talk about this idea of, do I have the wherewithal to even do what it is I want to do? Well, when you take these self assessments, right, measuring yourself and who you are as a person, and do you have the natural ability to do things? Do you have the aptitude to do things? What's your personality? What's your value system? Is it in alignment with what you're trying to do? Well, your aptitude has everything to do with your cognition. It has to do with your natural ability to do something. For whatever reason, I'm really good with numbers. I don't know if it's just because I just like to know how it works. I do like to know how money works. I was always infatuated with that. I'm also really good at absorbing a lot of information. I remember when I was younger, and I took some of these tests in college and even in high school, and they would be like, "Yeah, you'd be a great teacher." I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be a lawyer, or I wanted to be like an entrepreneur. So when they said teacher, I'm like, "Man, please, I want to be rich." So teaching was not what I wanted to do. But funny enough, I always found myself showing somebody something, teaching somebody something. It was really, weird that, my career kind of led me down that lane. And it really started from me just training people, right? Like, I would train people and I would, show people how to do stuff. And lo and behold, you know, as I got into my career, I started teaching, but it wasn't something that I thought to do. And part of the reason why I feel like I'm decent at it is because I just have the aptitude for it. Um, the other thing besides the aptitude is your ability. Like, do you have the ability, the skills to actually do the work, right? Like, so you can have the desire, but do you have the ability to do it? That's something else that you will want to consider. Your personality plays a role in that as well, right? Like, what is your personality? Do you have that personality for it? Like, I know we all know a lot of educators that they probably have the aptitude, they have the ability, but do they have the personality? We don't have to tell on anybody, but go ahead and raise your hand if you ever thought, hmm, does this teacher really like their job? Or maybe it was a customer service person. You're like, "Ma'am, there's no customer or service in anything that you're doing." Like, we've all come across people like that, right? So making sure that you have the personality for the work, right? Can you imagine you being in the VA field and you don't even like animals? Like that's probably not going to be a great fit for you. So you want to make sure you have the personality and the temperament to do the job as well. There's a lot of different tests out there, like the Myers-Briggs test, where it does this little measurement about, people's psychological preferences and, whether they'll be a good fit for certain, you know, positions, right? Now, many of us think, we have a good sense of who we are, right? But sometimes it doesn't always translate into every career field, right? So that's why it's important to even evaluate those things, right? Now, your values also play a big role in the type of work that you do and how your relationships will be, in your career. You want to start your own business. Are you going to be the person that honors commitments, getting those contracts done, not trying to cheat people? Like, what is your value system going to be? A lot of that will determine your longevity in your organization. Is that not the case? Is that not the case? Right? That is going to be important. So your skill set, then, what does that also entail as it relates to your actual work? Many of us have seen a job posting before, right? And what do we notice with the job posting, or have you ever noticed it? Give me a quick thumbs up if you've ever noticed in a job posting how they always put both hard skills and soft skills. Hard skills, we call them technical skills. Have anybody ever noticed that? Maybe you may notice that they'll post those technical skills first and then they always follow them up with something quirky like be a good communicator, be a good team player. And many of us, myself included, I ignore it, right? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Who doesn't know to be a good team player and have good communication? We don't always think through, like, why is this particular job really posting that soft skill? Because both technical skills and soft skills are important. So, guess what? Yes, in your technical courses, you need to know how to be a good welder. No doubt about that, right? We want you to know how to do that. But you also need some soft skills. What if you go out on a construction and you have to work on a team and you have to do time management? Y'all know if you're building a home and there's a lot of different players and you're not doing your part, and y'all know that who goes in first? I guess I don't even know if the welders go in first, the electrical. I know HVAC probably comes in last. I'm not sure how that works, but you need to be able to do stuff on time, right? You need to make sure that you have good teamwork. Is that you, right? Do you know how to do that? Like, you may be a great welder, a great electrician, a great HVAC person, but do you take initiative? Do you have integrity? And a lot of times when you see that on a job description, I'm gonna be honest with you, having been in HR and trained HR people, that's because that was a skills gap in the last person. Most times when a company is emphasizing a soft skill, it's because it has been an issue and they want to make sure you have it. Because if it wasn't that much of an issue, they wouldn't even waste their time putting it in the job description. Trust me. So you need to pay attention to that. And we're going to talk about how you're going to use some of those key words that you'll find in these job descriptions. But for the sake of today, my point is pay attention to what they put as both a technical skill and a soft skill. That means it's important for that job. Now, we can't talk about anything without talking about technology. Give me a thumbs up if technology is playing a part in your work right now. All of you guys are in different fields, so I kind of want to see. Have you seen technology? I know now. Some of now, I have a background in technology, so you don't want to hurt my feelings because I know it is, but a lot of people don't think it is. Now, I want to ask one person, I don't care if HVAC, welder, VA, one person, if you could please give us an example of how technology is in your industry. Can someone please give me an example? And remember, we all come from different different industries, so you got to talk to us like school kids because we may not know your industry. Anybody want to share? All right, now don't make me call on you. Please don't make me call. Somebody share with me. Who can share? I know. Alfred, you was one of the first people on here, so I'm just gonna pick on you. What program are you in? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I'm in the electrical.
Can you share? Have you noticed anything where technology is influencing the electrical industry?
Solar panels is like a big industry right now that's growing.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Right. And um it and it's I'm curious because when I think solar panels, I'm thinking, um, is it replacing? How is that working though? Are you guys using it in a certain way, or how is that working?
It can replace now to like for conserving energy for houses now. So you can like do installments
Oh,
for
like
and there's
storing energy.
yeah,
Oh, so it's like, oh, see, I'm so nosy. See, this is why I'm an edgy. I'm so nosy. So I want you to tell me more. So, like, when they have the solar panels and they're absorbing these light rays, right? That can be
hmm,
stored somewhere and then used later. Like if they wanted to
correct.
use it
But
at night.
yeah, correct.
Okay, okay. See, I just learned something. I was today years old when I actually deduced that. Okay, that's really interesting, right? Anybody else want to share from a different field how technology is affecting their industry? Anybody from the welding industry? I only choose welding because I know there's a lot of math and stuff in that welding program, and I know you guys probably have a lot of technical gadgets that you're using, right? Is that not any? Who's a welder? Who's in the welding industry? Nobody. Oh, we didn't have any welders. Okay, well that will explain why they didn't say anything. All right, but that y'all get the point, right? Clearly any type of software like you're going to need computer skills. We don't even need to talk about that. So, you guys are going to be managers and supervisors and directors and own your own business, so you're always that you're going to need technical computer skills. So let's get into what this smart goal is. So today you're going to be setting your first long-term goal. I would like two, but even if you can give me one, it's great. But I want to make sure that when you set this long-term goal that it's smart. So I wanted to pass the SMART test. So I am going to mess around since I think I have a lot of electrical people. Y'all forgive me, HVAC. Are there any HVAC? Give me a quick thumbs up. I always feel like I'm just using electrical as example, but any HVAC, quick thumbs up. I just want to use it for my example. I just want to make sure I'm talking to a crowd of it. Okay. Okay, I got a few. So HVAC guys, you guys can be journeymen. Is that the case? Like you could what I know electrical could be like master electricians. HVAC, you guys can be journeymen. Is that like a step up after technician? Am I right with that? 'Cause I just want to use it as an example. I just want to make sure I know what I'm talking about. Or what would be the equivalent? Like what would you can go get a license in HVAC? No? Anybody? Help me out. Like welding, I know you can be a journeyman. Can you be a journeyman as a HVAC? Is that how it goes? Or no? Y'all don't know? All right, so I'm gonna use what I do know. So, like, not only because one of my ex fiance's family used to run a low voltage company, so that's why I know so much about electrical. So let's say that I decided I want to become a master electrician, and I want to start my own business. So those are my two long goals. I want to be a master electrician, and I want to own my own business. Now, I need to make those two goals smart because what I just said is not a smart goal because there's no way for me to measure it. So here I go. My long term goal is to become a master electrician within 6 years and to own my own business, my low voltage business within 10 years. So I'm going to see if it passes the SMART test, and everybody can participate, but especially you electricians. Make sure I'm doing this right. So my very first test is to make sure it's specific, which is what the S stands for. So was my long-term goal specific? Electrical. Just give me a hands up. To become a master electrician within 6 years. That specific enough? Yeah. Thank you very much. What about measurable? Can I measure that? My long term goal is to become a master electrician within 6 years. That's measurable, right? I put a time limit on it. Now, here's the big question: is it attainable? This is always a tricky one. Can I actually become a master electrician in 6 years? Yeah. Thumbs up if y'all say yes, or girlfriend, you are being too aggressive or not aggressive. Can I do it? Anybody know? Is that okay? Is that attainable? Or is that not attainable? Give me a thumbs up if it's attainable. Anybody think I can become a master electrician within 6 years? Let's say I was in a program like yours and I want to become a master electrician in 6 years. Y'all making me feel real bad. What I need, 7 or 5? 6 is okay? Okay. I got one person that believes in me. I'll take it. Master electrician within 6 years. Now, is it realistic though? Is it realistic for me to want to become a master electrician within 6 years? Is that a realistic goal? Or is it too aggressive? Or what y'all think? I can do it? Thank you. All right. Well, I'm almost there. And is it time bound? Well, I put a deadline on it, didn't I? I said within 6 years. I didn't say one day I hope to become a master electrician. That is not a goal. That's a dream, right? So how do you make a goal? You state the exact goal, which I did. I said I want to become a master electrician. And I said within 6 years. And then I was able to run it through the SMART test. Now, I said I wanted to be also own my own business within 10. So between 6 years and that 10th year, I want to be able to own my own business. So you guys should be able to walk that through the SMART test to see if that makes sense. Just lastly, electricians, do you think I could run my own business within 10 years if I became a master electrician in 6? Quick thumbs up if you say, yeah, girl, you could do it. Y'all think I could do it? Is that attainable? Am I shooting for the stars? Is that attainable? Thank you. All right. So both of my goals just passed the SMART test. Did y'all see what I just did? In chapter 1, it's going to talk a lot about, setting goals, and it's going to give you these very abstract ideas, oh, yeah, you want to lose weight and all that. That's fine. But what I want you to do when you set your first long term goal, I want two, but at least give me one. Make sure it passes the SMART test. So state what you want to do and give it a time, right? Because if you don't set yourself to that time, you have nothing to hold yourself accountable towards, right? So that is the reason why you want to give it a time. Because as you're going through your career, as you're going through this career path, you need to be able to know, when do I move? And so you need a strategy to move. If you set a deadline, my goal is to become a master electrician within 6 years. Now I know I got 6 years to get this thing done. I need to figure out what I'm going to do year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right, to get to step 6. Now you have a goals in mind, and you want to make sure that each of those steps are also smart so that you can measure them. Does that make sense? Right? There's no secret to success, my friends. So when we talk about this idea of a career ladder, yes, most of us are familiar with that. Maybe you become an accountant and then you get your foot in the door, or maybe you become an electrician, you get your foot in the door. But what is this end game? What is it, to become an executive and to maybe work at a construction company like a famous real estate firm, or is the top of your ladder to own your own business? What are those steps in between? Are you going to work your way up within the company like a straight shot? Become an electrician, then maybe become a specialized something. Maybe you're going to become a project manager within that organization and become an exec. Or is the top of your ladder going to be a little different to where it's not a straight shot? Maybe it looks more like this, like a career lattice, where you, let's say you start out as a VA person, like a veterinary assistant, but you want to one day own your own pet mobile clinic. So maybe you're going to become a vet assistant, and then maybe you may even get promoted because you work at a clinic. But then you decide, man, I'm going to go back to school and be a VT, and then I'm going to specialize in working with big farm animals, and then I'll take a next step up to maybe run a new clinic before I start my own business. So the way you move will all depend on what it is you're trying to do, whether it's just one straight shot or you're going to start out one place and take a lateral move and specialize in something else and work your way up and maybe take another lateral move and work your way up. It doesn't really matter how you get there as long as you get to the top. But in the book, it talks about the difference between a ladder and a lattice, and that's all that is discussing. So, the good news is as you move through your career, you are building your portfolio. Now, as you go through that career, and it won't always be at the same company, you are going to need to be able to showcase yourself, right? Because if you want to start your own business and your goal is to maybe work at two different mid-sized firms before you start your own business, you may have to showcase what you've done at that first firm. Back in the day, we used to have to carry around portfolios. Anybody remember those old portfolios you would have to carry around when you go to job interviews? We would have to have our resumes. Oh, okay, thank you so much. I always feel old when I ask. I get nervous. But we would have to have our resumes. Oh, good, good, good. We would have to have sometimes a review. We would have to have our references. And then what? You had to have a whole bunch of copies just in case somebody showed up to the interview that you weren't expecting. Well, thanks be the goodness to technology. Now we have what? LinkedIn. LinkedIn saved us a lot of paper, right? Most times now companies say, oh, I have your resume. Don't worry about bringing it. They just check your LinkedIn profile. You don't have to have a whole bunch of paperwork and bring a briefcase and all that stuff with you. Now, LinkedIn is your digital portfolio if you did not know that. So when we talk about a career portfolio, the hard copies are that old stuff we used to have, but in today's time, that is what LinkedIn is about. Something else we'll discuss we get into it is once you package yourself up together, and you may say, "What am I, a product?" Uh, sort of. You're going to have to be able to promote yourself, right? You're going to have to be able to promote yourself. So we'll talk about what your career persona is going to be and how you're going to package that. But we'll be discussing that in the coming weeks. All right, I've rambled, rambled, rambled. And so I want to be able to give you your participation question for tonight. Here's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, man, what are my top three hard skills? What are my top three hard skills that I currently have? And what are my top three soft skills? It's going to help you start to think through, okay, how would I package myself? How am I different or unique? I don't want you to just list the ones that for your career, but ones you specifically have. Now, maybe you just recently acquired them in school, and that's okay too. But we want you to start to think about how you're going to promote yourself. In the coming weeks, we're going to be showcasing how you are going to promote yourself. So, for tonight, we want you to think about what are your top three technical skills. We also call those hard skills. And what are your top three soft skills? I'll give you a second to jot this down. All right. So that is your questions for tonight. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording just in case anyone wants to talk about